South African buses torched on the other side of Bike Bridge in response to xenophobia. An elephant rescues a lion cub in the Kruger. Zuma smuggles the Gaddafi millions to Eswatini. So which is fact, which is fake? Let's get started. Well, good evening and welcome to the Democracy Gauge. I'm Bongani Bingwa. As we reflect on 25 years of democracy, we discuss all aspects of your lived experience. So in the era of fake news and with election campaigns gaining momentum ahead of the May 8th vote, are you able to tell the difference between fact and fiction? False messaging via WhatsApp, fake Facebook accounts and bogus viral videos may appear real, but are they? See, it's election season, so fake news will take center stage. And even the media often get attacked with fake news websites. And that's why we're asking our poll question tonight. In the era of fake news, are you able to tell the difference between fact and fiction? You can choose from our three colors. Green is for yes, yellow is for maybe, and of course, if your answer is red, you'll choose red. If your answer is no, you can send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and try and make it under 30 seconds. You can also interact with our poll, by the way, on SABCnews.com. We extend the conversation to Facebook and Twitter. There are our hashtags on the screen, SABCDG25 and hashtag SABC News. Now, disinformation, misinformation and fake news during an election period can affect the fairness and credibility of an election. So ahead of the vote on the 8th of May, the IEC has joined forces with Media Monitoring Africa to create an online platform to expose digital disinformation. So this insert is produced for us by Media Monitoring Africa.
People might call the things they disagree with fake news, but the real problem we face is disinformation. The spread of disinformation is a global problem that can undermine free and fair elections. Disinformation is false information that is spread with an intent to cause harm. In the case of elections, disinformation is deliberately spread with the intent of undermining an election. So, how can we tackle disinformation? Be more aware about what you read and share. Learn the 5 C's to help you spot disinformation. Context. When was it written? And is there background information? Credibility. Does the source have a reputation for integrity? And do they mention other credible sources that can be trusted? Content. Is the content supporting a specific point of view? And have you checked how many facts versus opinions there are? Confirm. Confirm the information with different credible news sources to make sure it is not the only source making the claim. Compare. Compare the content to other credible news sources and non-news sources to get the bigger picture. If you spot possible disinformation, report it to the IEC using the website real411.org.za. Reporting disinformation is easy. Just fill out the details and include a link to the disinformation with a screenshot. Your report will be reviewed and you'll get an update as your report goes through the review process. The IEC's Directorate for Electoral Offences, together with experts, will review each report and pass on a recommendation to the IEC. The IEC will rule on acts of disinformation for appropriate action to be taken. Go to real411.org.za to help fight disinformation together.
Well, the Real 411 helps to distinguish between official and fake political messages. Political parties contesting the May 8th elections have been asked to upload all official advertising material to an online database. This will allow anyone to check whether a poster, for example, or a digital banner is legitimate or if even it's been digitally altered. To tell us more, we're joined now in the studio by Director of Media Monitoring Africa, William Bird. William, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to the Democracy Gauge.
Good evening, thanks for having me.
I mean, firstly, I suppose we've got to take a step back. This isn't just about politics, it's really about the social fabric at the moment. Many of us are in WhatsApp groups, we're sharing information via Facebook, and quite often people just forward without thinking.
Yep.
Why is there a consequence for that if it's fake news?
So I guess there's a consequence for a number of reasons. Media are a critical institution of our democracy, and what we've seen with the rise of social media is the ability to suddenly spread all sorts of information and disinformation. And what we're trying to do with this is really try and make sure that we can unpack and find out and identify those individuals who are seeking to spread false information with their intent to undermine our elections.
And sometimes it looks pretty harmless. I mean, in my introduction, I used the example of the elephant that was said to have rescued a lion cub at the Kruger. I fell for that one, and I shared it without thinking and learnt my lesson.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be, and I guess that's an example of misinformation, where it's sharing, unintentional sharing of false information without an intent to cause harm or undermine, as opposed to someone who, for example, goes and says this particular political leader of Party A is saying these and these things and manipulating a video to make it look like they're saying something when they clearly aren't.
Let's talk about some of the jargon. We talk about trolls today. We talk about bots. What do we mean?
So trolls and bots are really devices that are used by different entities in order to go after someone. So if you think about a group of trolls, you know, they're a group of people that like to attack someone. So journalists frequently and senior political figures are frequently subjected to troll or bot armies. And these are people that are done usually on Twitter, where they go after a person. They'll say all sorts of rude things about you, and then the troll army or the bot army will just retweet and keep doing that. And this is a modern form of censorship. So they can be used, and most often are used as a modern form of censorship to say, we don't like what you're saying, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. You're Stratcom, you're an evil agent, you're this, you're that, you're this and that.
Really?
Until
they
you
call
don't,
journalists
and
Stratcom?
They don't. No.
Really?
I know, but they just don't let you talk. They
me.
don't let you say anything, and they just keep going and going and going. And it's and for women journalists especially, they go after them and they attack their sexuality, they attack their gender.
I mean, I sort of made light of it, but obviously it's got very serious consequences, because if you're trying to silence journalists that you don't like, whose information you disagree with, that's got real consequences in an election period.
Well, yeah, and I mean, disinformation destroys democracy, and it's because of that the IEC have said, we recognize this as a very serious threat to our electoral processes, and we need to take steps to alleviate and try and do something to mitigate the very real threat it poses.
Some people may argue, though, that a platform like Twitter, for example, that's the nature of the beast. It's a rage machine, and that people are likely to congregate in groups of like-minded individuals to support a particular agenda. Deal with it.
Well, yes and no, you know, I mean, and the thing is this isn't out there to stop groups or even groupthink or stopping people from saying horrible and unkind things. What it is there to do is to say people that are out there to undermine our electoral processes, if they do it from outside of South Africa or if they're doing it using the platforms. The thing is we're working with the platforms, but that this is a South African initiative. It's about saying these are our elections. We need to make sure that we can deal with the issues that arise in our elections.
So have there been threats to these elections from external forces?
So already we've had a number of complaints. I forget what the number is now, but we've had a number of complaints of people saying, well, this particular tweet or Facebook post is clearly putting out something that is disinformation. And, you know, it's about whether or not the IEC determines whether that is. So, but clearly, based on the complaints we've had, the answer is yes, there are very clear threats.
You've mentioned already attacks on female journalists. I mean, the IEC has ruled on a recent issue that arose. Some people are saying maybe that there isn't always the appetite to deal with these things as strongly as a body like the IEC could.
Well, I think that the IEC's role is fairly complex, and as a general rule, if you look at the way they've tried to deal with conflict over the last 25 years, theirs is an approach of, you know, try and mitigate the harm, reach consensus, and try and make sure that the end goal of free, fair, credible elections is met. Now, in some of these instances, we've already managed to take down a number of tweets and posts that are clearly in violation of the community standards and our own laws in South Africa.
Can political parties get away with saying, though, that some of these things are issued by people purporting to be their supporters? They have no direct responsibility of that messaging. Is that good enough?
Well, it isn't, but then we need them to take a very clear position on that. And in fact, if you look at the electoral code, it says that it's not just up to the members of the political party or the leaders, it's about their supporters. Yep. So if you do something in the name of party A, B, C or D, it's up to that party to make sure that they come down and say, hey, not in our name, we do not accept this, and to do everything within their reasonable power to address that particular issue.
But you've come together in partnership with the IEC, with the Real 411. Just break it down for us. What exactly can it do for people trying to make sense of what's real and what's not?
So there are a number of things. The first thing you can do is there's an app called Rover that you can download on an Android phone, and that'll help you start to become better at spotting what's real and what's rubbish. And then if you see something that you're not sure about on any digital platform, you go and you report it there, and then it gets reviewed by experts as part of the Directorate of Electoral Offences within the IEC. And they then make a determination, or at least a recommendation, which then goes to an IEC commissioner, who in the standard practice of things are always the ones that determine the basis and outcomes of complaints. And if they then make a ruling, or they can send it to the electoral court. But basically, it's if you see something that you're not sure about, whether you're a member of the public, a party supporter, a member of the media, a journalist, whoever you are, go there and report it. Because
quite often, I mean, these things can result in real outrage. I use the example also of the xenophobic reaction to what had happened in KZN. We were being told via social media that South African trucks and buses were being burnt on the other side of the Beit Bridge, when in fact it wasn't true. But already it fueled a response in South Africa.
I mean, and that's always one of the tips. If you see a post that that the moment you read it, you go, what on earth is this? And you get incensed and you want to jump up and down and go and beat someone up or something. Be careful about that, because what generally credible and responsible journalism will do is they'll take that and they won't report it in a manner that is sensationalist or that inflames.
Yeah.
And because things are tensions are so high, we've seen already with those despicable acts to try and stop someone from launching a book, violence being used. We have to say that kind of speech that seeks to incite, we must act against that.
All right, we'll leave it there. William Bird, thank you very much for being part of the Democracy Gauge this afternoon. So that's how maybe you can start up by looking at news. The more exciting it seems, the more sensational it is. Beware the over-sensationalized report. Now, a reminder of our poll question this evening. In the era of fake news, are you able to tell the difference between fact and fiction? Green, yes. Yellow, maybe. Red, no. You can send us a WhatsApp video to 0658624548. We'll share some of your views after the break. And as we go to that, William, do you want to choose a color? Are you able to spot the difference?
Sometimes red and sometimes green. They managed to trick all of us. Huh?
So that means you're choosing a maybe.
I'm choosing it, well, maybe, sometimes yes.
Maybe, sometimes yes, no. That's not fake news.
Not hedging my bets at all.
Every year, more and more people all around the country are saving money on their car insurance. Let's meet some of them.
So this lady from Outsurance calls you.
Yes, friendly, vibrant, energetic, and she made that sale within 3 seconds. No, 3 sentences.
3 seconds is even better than 3 sentences.
She was good. Ended up saving almost 300 Rand per month.
How would you summarize your overall experience with Outsurance? 3 words.
Fresh, vibrant, and lekker.
If you think it's a hassle getting a quote, put us to the test. Call or SMS now for a quick quote and make 2019 your time to save. SMS SAVE to 34473.
This car of yours is only that smell.
Yes.
Is it a new one?
It's new, my dear. First one.
So how long were you with your previous insurer?
For a month.
30
I only
days.
paid 1 premium. It was too much. I gave them a call.
Outsurance?
Yes. All my questions were answered, even some of the things, because I'm a new driver.
Yeah.
I was not aware of some things. They made a quote for me. I saved about 500 Rand. 2019. How?
Yes.
If you've been with the same insurer for years and haven't recently put Outsurance to the test, call or SMS now and make 2019 your time to save. SMS SAVE to 34473.
My previous insurance phoned and said they're going to put my premium up again. And I just thought, you know, really, I can't do this. I sent the SMS, immediately he phoned me. And he was really so sweet. He was so friendly. I couldn't believe it.
How much did you end up saving?
It was about 419 Rand. It's never too late. You must just do it. It's really, really worth it. It's going to change your life. It's changed my life.
Have you told anybody else about it?
Yes, I have.
Yeah?
I tell everybody. Wherever I go, I tell them.
They've all saved. Why shouldn't you? SMS SAVE to 34473 and make 2019 your time to save.
So how did your path cross with insurance?
My nephew referred me because he had just switched and saved.
Yeah. How much did you save?
Over 900 Rand.
What are you doing with your saving every month?
I want to go to the Caribbean island. I want to go and get my groove back.
You need to give your nephew a shout out. Give him a shout out, Bonnie.
Dale, you are awesome.
And now, she and Mr. Quipman are going to get their groove back.
Just think what you could do with the money you save. SMS SAVE to 34473. 2019, it's your time to save.
Tell me about how you heard about insurance the first time.
I was contacted by a very, very friendly consultant. Gave me the amounts. Honestly, didn't believe it.
Why didn't you believe it?
It was too good to be true.
Now you're making me curious. What was the amount?
1,305 Rand difference. I was like, what? No ways. I screamed on the phone. Other guys sitting around me like, what's wrong with this guy?
Can we just have a moment of silence?
Thank you, insurance.
SMS SAVE to 34473 and make 2019 your time to save.
Well, as you know, it's all about you here on the Democracy Gate. So let's take a look at what people are saying on social media. We'll start with Twitter, and there it comes up. Tulani says, yes, anything from, yes, predictably, Stratcom journalists I ignore. I imagine he means me, as I joked with William Bird. Never been called that before, certainly, no, never. Small on Facebook says, it's hard to tell for news readers because we are mainly readers on our different media platforms, as in not participating on them. News as they occur, but somehow we're able to influence what we don't have facts about. It just doesn't make sense. I think that's about the only bit I get from that message. It just doesn't make sense. Marabunya says, NASPERS rests at the top of South Africa's propaganda machine. SABC has come a long way to ensure they eliminate their ANC bias. So those are views that you have on media that you consume. Do, of course, be part of the conversation, because that continues on Twitter and Facebook. Coming up, we'll let you share your views directly with the show via WhatsApp video. Right, the People's View allows you to interact with us and share your views directly. Now, I've been asking you to send us WhatsApp videos. Do tell us who you are, where you're from. Keep them under 30 seconds if you can, and make your point short and sharp. Here are some that have come through.
I think what is important when it comes to fake and authentic news is that one must know their sources firstly, and you must do a proper research. You just can't take information that it's a hearsay without having to get proper research on it and how authentic is the information that you get, and perhaps consult professional people with regard to the information so that you can know that either the news that you are reading are not fake or not, and perhaps do a deep understanding, and perhaps go to other people that might have information as well.
I normally tell how I differentiate from fake news to real news is I don't really believe news that are from blogs, and also social media. Sometimes I have to first look for like a reputable source. Yeah, that's what I normally do to differentiate it.
Fake news is news. People's got things to say about everything that's fake, and people's got nothing to say about everything that's real.
Well, that's how you see it. If you want to be part of the People's View in our next show, just send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. At the end of the show, I will throw forward to tomorrow's topic, and as soon as it's open, you can be part of the conversation. Now, Isak Kasper from the Eastern Cape, your story is coming up right after this break.
We're explorers. We always have been. Endlessly curious, always looking for answers, for new frontiers, for new stories. Because that is who we are. From script to screen, from yelling action to taking you on a journey. Radio producers, script writers, on-air presenters, news reporters, sports analysts. We spend late nights creating captivating storylines and earlier mornings keeping you informed, educated, and entertained. For us, it's not a job, it's a calling. We do this and more because you do your part. SABC TV licenses, made possible by you.
Where else would you find a dancing bear? A bee? Pigs?
Quite correct.
A horse? Chickens? A singing donkey? Puppets? A splash of fun? I wonder. I think I might have an idea. Real animals with real skills. Don't miss our fun friends that will keep you kids clapping and smiling all day. There's music, food, and fun, of course.
Just stop!
SABC Encore, DSTV Channel 156.
Well, as you know, on the show, every day, SABC News through the Democracy Gauge profiles a different South African. It's been really extraordinary because they've crisscrossed the country to tell people's stories where they are located. You can find all of them on our elections website, sabcnews.com/election. There they are dotted on the map there. Today we're in a small town in the Eastern Cape, nestled in the mountains there, and it's really all about one Isak Kasper, who is a 76-year-old man who's got a story to tell from where he is. He remains committed to South Africa and he believes the best is yet to come.
My regte naam is Isak en my van is Kasper. Het aan 'n brand was in 'n brandmoeilikheid geweest. Hier by die stalletjies. Het was 'n koue winteraand en toen ek nou terugkom toe, want ek het my werksakkie vergeet. Toe ek die kom halen en het koud nou. Maar maak vuurtjie, groot vuurtjie maar. In the meantime toe ek my ontmoet, dus my bene afgebrand, ek kan het nou nog nie verstaan nie. Ek het net, hy sê het aan, sê achtermiddag toe, vat hulle met die toe na kar. Ek sê so my Garanguza. Zou toe gaan. Alle mensen gaan zonder wat misschien zulke problemen hebben. Je moet slijten. Je mag slijten nou, maar zeker maken voor die kokkerrotten of akaldessies.
En die meisjes kriponnen?
Ja, die meisjes lopen ook weer rond.
Slangen?
Ja, de meisjes is een slang brengen. Zoals mijn eigen is ook.
Kijk, toe die nou,
yes.
Mooi toedraai.
Ja. My dag voel ek soos ek reeds vir Kathleen gesê het, kom, ons gaan af. Werk toe, ons noem die werk, want ons die goed wat ons verkoop daar, is werk. As jy nie vandag geld maak, jy moet trots wees. Maak jy miskien môre geldjie. Baie kere, as ons miskien op pad werk toe, dan moet iemand van die toeriste ontmoet ons, geef sommer vir ons iets geld of 'n pakkie wat kos is, dis ons voel trots, is betaling. Die windmills maak ek en die materiaal is die beginpunt, soos ek gesê, maar is ou draad. Dan moet jy nog betalen wat die stukkie draad vir jou bring, want ek kan nie draad loop haal, ek moet betaal uit die geldjie wat die wimpom weer maak, wat ek uit die draad het maak. As ek 'n dingetje verkoop, is my geld. Sien, so, dit is myne. Want ek maak hom, want ek uit myself het iemand sê maar net dat jy hang hier of jy staan daar, ek het hom gemaakt. En as jy send dit en jy kan draad koop, ek koop een stukje vir jou. Jy moet hom maar net koop. Toen neem hulle name op terwyl ons nou nie krag het hier nie, so hulle die sonpanele iets so op ons sit. Ons moes teken. Nou dit is sommer so gesmeld en alles is by mense hoor niks. Ek weet ook nie hoe ek sê nie. Want dis wanneer jy loop die drade. Maar as ons dit kon reg gekry het, of iemand sien dit, dan is dit 'n droom. Ek voel ons demokrasie het geel geraak. Want vir die tweede fase sal hy miskien nog beter raak. Waarom geel is die beginpunt? Ek is net uit met die jare en ek is 'n hooggeleerde man nie, maar die Here seën my laat 'n bietjie verstaan wat moet gedoen word. Dis ek moet kom sê, geel is die land se waarde.
Now comes one of my favorite parts of the show, because every day we go back to 1994 to remind you of what was happening on this day in the build-up to that historic first democratic poll. So on this day 25 years ago, the first group of members of the National Peacekeeping Force arrived in Katlehong. You'll remember, of course, the East Rand was on fire in those days.
Go bonela go na le maikutlo a fapafapanego mabapi le go ba gona ga madira a National Peacekeeping Force ka Katlehong. Baagi ba go sela kwesini ba re ba tšea maloko bjalo ka madira a ANC a wa le go ka karolong eo go tla go ba tlhoriša.
Corporal, can you tell us, with a few hours that you've been around, you probably have a feeling already how you think you'll be able to cope in this area?
Yeah, from the time we have been landed here, the people of this place have got a good cooperation with us. There's nothing like what you have seen, what you have been read by the papers. All the time they give us the very, very good cooperation. All the time, even in the roadblock, they operate with the guys, we're operating with them. They give us no problem until now.
Right, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the results for today's poll. There they are on your screen. We thank you for taking the time to watch and participate in our show. Now, on tomorrow's show, we're asking, do you support our local film industry? That poll is now open. Again, you choose from our three colors: green, yes; yellow, maybe; red, for no. And of course, remember to view all our profiles on our website. But that's where we're going to leave it today. From Nomsa and myself, until tomorrow, ubusuku benzolo. Good night.